Jay Bills from Media Spotlight UK, and I'm here with the legendary Gareth Davies in the building. I mean,
I think we're outside the building, actually.
well, we're outside the building, but around the building facility.
And what a beautiful day it is. It's
What
great
a
to
view.
be with you.
Well, honestly, you've been hosting the weigh-ins today for CFN London. I mean, you're no stranger to the boxing arenas. You've done it for so many years. How does CFN compare as far as what's your experience with CFN generally?
Well, I think this is my fourth event now. It's brilliant to be involved. It's great to see people from the crypto world and from the professional world get involved on the same card together. It's very professionally run. It's a privilege to be asked to do it. It's me stepping away from the mainstream world of fight sports. You know, as you mentioned, I've been involved in a long time. The word legendary means it means you're old.
No. Legendary can mean different things.
No, but I know I've been involved a long time with boxing and MMA. I am one of those people that is happy to see people from different milieu, from crypto, get involved in the fight world because they physically change, they emotionally change, they mentally change when they prepare for fights. A fight is a fight, doesn't matter what level you're doing it. They have to deal with nerves, weigh-ins, cutting weight, physique, an opponent that wants to knock their head off. And what I've witnessed so far is these guys are really competitive from the crypto world and they bring it all. I mean, in the building today, Roy Jones Jr., number one pound for pound in the world about 20 years ago. Chris Santos, Cyborg Santos, the Grand Slam of mixed martial arts titles, one of the greatest women fighters of all time. How that spreads and evolves itself to these other people, that's why we made a big fuss of them in there earlier. It's really important for all these guys and girls who, from different levels of fighting, are all involved in there. It's going to be a great night at Indigo. When there's 2,000 people in there, it's going to be a banging atmosphere tomorrow night.
I mean, of course, like with Aria Wilder and Chris Cyborg, I mean, you've seen it from, behind the scenes as far as the making of this fight. I mean, when it got announced that this would be the fight that would headline this event, like, what was your initial thoughts like when, you first got encountered from it?
Well, it's history making because Cyborg hasn't fought in the UK before in London. So in that sense, it's brilliant. She's 38 now. She's coming towards the end of her career. She's had 2 boxing matches, I think it is. This is her 3rd. Aria Wilde is very young in her career. I think from the outside, and it's not MMA, it's boxing, she's in a whole heap of trouble, but she really believes in herself. And that really stands out. Aria's a real character. We know that Cyborg is going to swarm her, and she knows she's going to try and outbox her. That's what Wilde is going to do. But I think when you've got a legend coming to the end of their career, and she's still got it, I think she'll go into the PFL after this. There's loads of fights there for her in the PFL to return to what she does. She's probably got 2 years left. No, it's amazing to have her and see her fighter. She genuinely is. I mean, I've followed her all over the world in fights, and she is an extraordinary person.
And just wanted to
fighter, of course.
Of course of that. I wanted to touch on a few things because, with Misfits, KSI had announced recently that he'll be doing like a 2v1 against Anthony Taylor and Slim. I wanted to get your perspective on it. You've seen the Misfits world. I mean, what are your thoughts in terms of this matchup being set up like in this way, a 2v1?
Well, KSI is always pushing the boundaries. He had a brilliant fight against Tommy Fury. Who else did he fight that I thought he was amazing in? Well, of course, the fights with Logan Paul. I was there at the very beginning when he fought him. Obviously, I wasn't the fight here, but I was in the fight in Los Angeles. I think he's an extraordinary person. When you've got those young guys and the Paul brothers and different influencers, you've got literally tens of millions of subscribers and followers, young people, watching them get involved in weight cutting. I mean, KSI is in fantastic shape. He used to be quite pudgy, and I think it's transformed his life. He's addicted to training and boxing. The influence that has on a whole generation of young people, I think it's amazing. And rather than there are critics of it, the purists in fight sports are critical of it, but I think they are dragging and drawing a whole genre, a whole generation into thinking about going to the gym, into thinking about being fit. I mean, Holly Willoughby I interviewed, her kids were at the event. Louis Theroux was dragged there by his children. It makes them come to this environment and say we need to have a look. I think fight sports teaches people confidence, emotional confidence. It teaches them a lifestyle that's really important, and they've all got balls, they've all got cojones for doing it. I applaud them.
And a few final things from me. Obviously, it's been announced recently that Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson have been rescheduled. We're looking at possibly November now at this point. Obviously, with the health scare with Mike Tyson, how do you honestly see the fight as far as it, like, you know, what are your thoughts of it being rescheduled and the fight even taking place?
Well, I was ambivalent about it. I'm worried about Mike Tyson's health because he's in his late 50s. Obviously, this has come up now. He's got an ulcer, I think. I don't begrudge him having a fight, and I'm sure he's earning extraordinary buckets of gold for doing it, and so he should. You know, but I think I worry about his age. Jake Paul's a big, strong guy, 30 years his junior. Obviously, like everyone else who loved Mike Tyson and followed and covered his career, I want to see him knock Jake out. Much as I love you, Jake. But I think Mike Tyson's probably only got 2 rounds, 4 minutes to get the job done. Rescheduled for November. I hope he stays healthy. I will be there covering it. But as I said, I have a slight ambivalence about it. But I have no qualms about Mike getting in there and earning a crock of gold. But I just worry about his health a little bit.
And Tyson Fury versus Msuk, you know, obviously in Saudi Arabia, that fight was crazy, like, you know, all 12 rounds, like Usyk being the undisputed champion. Their rematch for when it does happen, you know, what does Tyson need to do, you know, because obviously it's his first loss. So how do you see, like, for the rematch to happen, like, how do you think that will go when it happens?
Well, it's slated for December the 21st at the Kingdom Arena in Saudi Arabia, in Riyadh, of course. I think the comeback fight from a very big name like Tyson Fury, that comeback fight's always a big fight. There was enough in those first 6 rounds for him to work off. At the time, he was dominating Usyk. Obviously, it all went haywire in the 9th round when he was caught by that left hand. And he got through that round and he came back strongly in the last, 10, 11, 12. It was a very close fight. I had Usyk winning by 114, 113. It's a tremendous rematch. It's great to have another undisputed title, title fight, rather like we had Lewis and Holyfield all those years ago, 25 years ago. Tyson Fury is a very special character. It's good that he's got something to aim at after the first defeat of his life. I know he went AWOL the other day and had a bit of a drink, but who doesn't have a blowout? It's a shame people feel the need to film those things and put them out there, but I'm really looking forward to it. And I think it'll be a bit heavier this time, but in the same kind of conditioned shape. Really looking forward to it. And then if he wins, hopefully we get the Joshua fight next year.
I mean, we'll be waiting for that for how many years now? Is it 6, 7 years?
About four, I think.
4 years.
Well, we waited 6 years for Deontay Wilder against Anthony Joshua, and it looks like we'll never get that now. Because obviously Wilder's lost his last 2 and he didn't look great in his last outing. But
yeah, what did you make of that? I mean, obviously, you know, he did it for his daughter, with all means for his career. Do you think it's time for him to hang it up, or do you think there's more to the tank with Deontay?
Yeah, I mean, I don't ever put it out there that I think fighters should retire. It's up to them. But I wouldn't be surprised at all if he walked away now. But I wouldn't be surprised if he had one more contest. But he looked hunted and haunted in that last fight against Zhili Zhang. And, you know, he's a very light heavyweight, 15 and a half, 16 stone, very tall man. But when he's up against these 20 stone heavyweights, when he doesn't have that aura of a destroyer, of a crusher, of invincibility, he's not the same presence in the ring. And I think we saw that against Zhili Zhang. And obviously Zhang did a number on him in the 5th round.
Well, finally, what can fans expect for tomorrow night for CFN? It's going to be a banger, I know that.
Well, I know that a can pie panda is fighting a pudgy penguin at one. I'm doing leads to presenter and commentary. I might disappear for that moment and have a quick tequila when the penguin fights the panda. But I really like the energy between Bit Boy, Ben Armstrong, Chris Smith, Christopher Stoichev earlier. I really think they are really up for a big fight. Ariel Wild and Chris Cyborg we've spoken about. I think Cyborg's a big favourite. Jaden John Lewis only won Jays against Tony Lightning at Superfly. Really looking forward to that. I think Tony's a big favourite in that. And Frimpong bristling with energy from Brighton against the mechanic Warren Spencer. That'll be brilliant. I just think we'll have a ton of great fights on the card tomorrow night. Banging atmosphere, small venue, massive crowd. It's going to be amazing.
Well, I know you're being called up. Gareth, what a pleasure to meet you finally. I've seen you across a load of, influencer events, but
Since you were born.
Since I was born, yeah, that was like some time ago. But honestly, a pleasure to meet you, and I hope to see you at more events. And I wish you all the best in general. Thank you so much for taking the time.
My pleasure.
Thank you.